Live streaming is a hot tool for marketing and connecting with your community as an entrepreneur. And in this episode of Agorapreneurs, we're going to talk about a new updated version of the live studio that comes with Restream, one of the best out there. And you're going to want to see it here on Agorapreneurs.
Welcome to Agorapreneurs, standing for liberty and freedom, all done peacefully. Now, here is your guide, TerryBrock.
Welcome back to Agorapreneurs. I'm TerryBrock, your guide here to talk about the lifestyle of being an entrepreneur, living freely with freedom, liberty, and voluntary. Volunteering is that you are cooperating with others and working with them and really just living life the way that you want without initiating force and coercion against others. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, hey, what are you waiting for? Come on, you can get more information on this, on living that lifestyle and get the right tools that you need. And that's what we're going to do today. Talk about a tool that can be very helpful called Restream. It's with live streaming. And by the way, they're a sponsor of us. And so we wanted to really take this time because they've just had an upgrade just a couple days ago and talk to you about some of the features that you can use on that to really fuel your entrepreneurial ventures. I find that using live stream is really good. It gives you ability to get out there and connect with people real time, kind of like a sporting event has that excitement, that electricity. What's going to happen? We don't know. And there's we don't know and electricity on the behalf of the audience. And hey, on the fact that we as presenters sometimes might make an oh whoops or we do something wrong. And that's okay. With live stream, you got to keep rolling. When you're recording it, as we do a lot, you got a chance to go, ooh, we didn't want that. Stop, redo it. Okay, we can do it over. And there's a place for that. There's also a place for live stream where you go, oh, whoops, but you got to keep going because eyeballs are on you. And so there's a lot you can do with that. Well, one of the tools that we're using is using the Restream format from Restream.io. And by the way, you can get a discount on that when you go through our affiliate link, so be sure and use that. And I want to look over here. Let you see, last time we talked about the destinations you can have. This is one of the real key features. As you can see, I've got several set up right here where I can go to, get this, LinkedIn, to Periscope, which was Twitter as well. I can go to our Facebook group, Agorapreneurs, my regular Facebook profile. Got some other information here, and over to YouTube. You can go on up to 30 destinations at the same time. And that's the real power of Restream. You've got a chance to do your marketing where your customers are. Rather than telling them, come over here only to this one area here on Facebook, you say, hey, come on over wherever you are. We're on this platform and this one, etc., all around. Well, one of the keys that real benefit of using Restream is using their live studio. As a matter of fact, you can take a look at this right here. I'm going to enter the live studio. Clicking on this right here, it takes me into that where I can see it, and now you're getting Terry twice on there. You see, we bounce in there like this, but now I've muted my video purposely so that you're not going to see it, and I'm also turning off my microphone so I don't have the microphone going into the recording that I'm using. Right now I'm using Camtasia to record what I'm doing here so you can see what's going on. It's kind of like that way you can look over my shoulder and see what's there. But you'll see they've got quite a few, and those of you that have used the earlier versions of Restream will notice, hey, they've updated this. They've got different features here that you can use, and we want to talk about those in this particular video. So we're going to look at, first of all, you can have the contain where you have the two side by side, or a cover, a little bit different, you get a little bit bigger screen that way. You can go into half screen, so this way you bring in one person focused and have two others that would be side by side. Cinema gives you the ability to have one person really focused and others kind of on a thumbnail. This one is thumbnails where you're doing kind of the same thing, but you're putting them over on the side. So those are handy. And right here you see you can use your microphone, your camera, you can share screen, and by sharing the screen, that way you can say, okay, here's what I want to talk to you about. I want to show you this particular feature. And then we have invite guest. This is nice where you can come in here and you see it gives you a fixed tool that you can use, a location where people can come to see you. You would just simply copy that, click over here, and when you do that, you see you've copied it now to your clipboard and you can send that out to others. So you use that to invite your guests, and you're using the same one over and over. Here's a feature that's a little different than some others. I kind of like it. People know to regularly come back to that. Or if you say, hey, we've been using that a lot, we don't want to have all those people knowing what it was before, you can click on refresh. And refresh lets you get a brand new one. You can do that each time if you so chose to do that. But I think this has some really nice features here when we look at it. I'm going to turn my video on. So now you're going to get double Terry. And notice what happens. I'm in black and white up here. You'll see I'm in black and white, but when I click on this maximize, then it brings it out. There we are. So now you got two Terrys. Yeah, you see me on Restream as well as the recording here. One of the real advantages of using live stream is when you can tap into other people coming on board. Bring in experts to talk about them, talk about what's going on, a given subject. For instance, you might get someone who has an opinion on a given topic in an industry, and they feel strongly on this side. Bring in another person who might have another view that's a little different. And that way you've got a little bit of contrast to look at what's going on. And you can do that within Restream very nicely. You notice down here we looked at the various kinds of features that they have for bringing in. This is brand new in their newest update. You can contain it, cover. I like the half screen. This could be really good to bring in one person who's talking. Notice on one side you got that a little bit larger and the other two guests that are there, and you switch back and forth. Or you could bring in several. Now it gives you the ability, as it says right here, let's click on this, you have the ability to bring in up to 10 people in the stream. That would be you as a guest, host, or excuse me, as the host, and then 9 other guests if you want. I find that could be a little bit confusing though, because what we're doing here is a little different than, say, on a platform like Zoom, where you might want to have a lot of people, tens of people in there, maybe even hundreds of people for a webinar or even a meeting where it's a closed meeting where just those people are involved. Zoom would be a good tool for that. This is where Restream comes in. It's really good when you want to highlight a couple of different people and get their perspective on something. And all you do is you click on this little button right here where it says invite guests. Then you've got your address right here. You can click on that and it'll send that out to the same address to people over and over. Or if you say, hey, time to refresh that, you click on refresh and you're able to take care of that. So bringing in guests is real easy and really beneficial to you. And for me to bring in a guest, notice we've got a couple here. I'm going to bring me on a second one available here. Let me see, I'm put this in here and I'm going to turn my camera on. There we go. So with my camera now on over here, you can see me there, but also I've got a Terry 2 over here, so I'm going to turn that on as well. And you'll see we now have 2 Terrys. So we got one there and one here. So you can say, okay, this is just a separate one. And you see what I can do is I can click on this and it brings up Terry 2. Hello there, how are you today? Hello there, although I'm using this microphone here, so I should talk this way, and we're right into the light, so I'll move that over there. You see, hey, this is just keeping it real. You can see all the lights that I've got in my setup here as I'm doing that. Or we can put us side by side and put something like that. Here we're in that, but I want to move over here and select that caption, and then as I click on this, notice now we're side by side. And if that's in the contain over here in the cover, notice what it's like. That might give you a little bit more full picture of it. Or over here, going into the half screen, kind of the same with only 2. Go into cinema, notice we got one person there and another one, and I can click over here to say, okay, we want this person there, or maybe I want to use this person on there. So you can go back and forth. You can also use a spotlight. Notice by using the spotlight, it gives me the ability to spotlight this person or switch it around. So now I'm looking at the other person spotlighted. It gives you the ability to do a lot. I really like that ability that Restream has. Or you can say, hold on, we want to focus on just this one person right here, or maybe I want to focus on just that one person over there. Notice how I'm going back and forth, and Restream is real handy for letting you be the director and control what's going to be seen. Really nice features here as you focus on guests. The captions and the graphics that you use really enhance your video enormously. And as an entrepreneur, an agorapreneur, you want to make sure you are using all the tools to your disposal in the best way possible. And one of the things that you can do with this is their captions. Take a look at this right here. I really like this. I can put in, for instance, my name right here and just hide this. I have Terry coming in very nicely like that. You see how I've got that little box around it? And by the way, over here in the graphics section, I can change this. Notice I've got rounded. I'll go to default and it looks like that, or go into a news format and it looks something like that. So all of that ties in with what I've put here. Or I can put in the follow us on Twitter. There we are, follow us on Twitter, and this is built in from Restream, of course. We've got that available. Or I can click again on hide, and you see we just hide it, and now I've got Terry, and I put that in there just like that. I have that. I tend to like the rounded. It seems to look nice. It's concise. It gets the message across, but it's not taking up everything on the screen, all the real estate. Sometimes you might have an object you want to bring in over here. So real handy on that. And with captions, you can add your own caption. So if you want to put something on here, and this is a really big deal, notice what I'm going to do. I'm going to type that in, and then I'm going to have that. I'm going to show it right here. And now when I do that, it's a really big deal. So what that means is now you can bring in something. You say, somebody says, oh, the phone number to call is, you can pop that in. Or our website for information. I'm going to give a free gift to all your guests, all your listeners. You can type that in right there if you don't have it. Real nice thing. And you say, okay, we're now hiding it, and it's great. Now we take a look at the graphics. I mentioned to you the default, the news, and the rounded that are available. I've got my name here as Terry1. Well, I'll get rid of that and put it in just as Terry, and there it sits real nice. Default graphics we can use in here, or turn those off. I like to have those on so that I can have them available if I want, and participants' names. I usually like that on, so that way if I have a guest and I have a participant, I can bring in their names. For logos, well, that's kind of nice. See, I can put up my Agorapreneurs. I can put up a Restream logo if I want. My TerryBrock available. I've got a few of these, some of my logos that I use for different features on this. One thing I would like would be able to have the ability to make it a little bit larger. That looks a little bit small to me, and I haven't found a really good way to do it yet effectively. But I think that for the most part, it's nice as a subtle background there. And for the overlays, here's one that I've used. Often I have a tech tips with Terry Tuesday at 2 with some folks. I put that in there. It's available, really nice. Or here's another one. If I'm going to do my Agorapreneurs, doing it live, these are just set up automatically. I put them in there and they're available. So I have that available. My logo is available on there working with, or if I want to bring up a special announcement, like for instance, when I was on TEDx, well, hey, wanted to put this in here, and I let Canva use this to create it for my TEDx presentation for an upcoming weekend venture that was back on December 5th and 6th. I was able to put that in there. By the way, notice the Agorapreneurs is still in there, so I might want to get rid of that while it's there. So your logo could interfere with the overlay. Make sure that you get rid of those and not have that on there all at the same time. But this will give you the ability to put a lot in there. And you can bring in some videos. These are some that are included. You can add your own. I like this particularly so that when I'm getting ready for a broadcast, I can bring in a nice countdown that's letting us hear, hey, here's what's going on. The people look at that and they know what's going to happen there. And that's particularly handy, I have found, for you to have a confidence monitor going. Have that confidence monitor. That means another laptop that might be there, so you can see what everyone else is going to see. And that way, because there's a delay with live streaming, for instance, say over to Facebook, well, what you can do is you can go over to Facebook and you say you're going to start it at 2 o'clock. Well, what I would do is I would start that graphic going at 1:59. 1:59:30, something like that, so that then I see the countdown and I can look over here and go, oh, okay, so it's showing that we did start and we're going to start on time and we'll begin, so I know it is working. That is really nice little feature that's built into Restream that lets you do a lot there. And the backgrounds here, you can click on these. They look nice. They come in and they give you a little background of capability, putting some nice features in there. I don't use that very often, and I find that it's okay, but real nice. But with all of this together, you can create a much nicer look when you're working with any kind of background and your captions so that you telegraph your message even better. And our final area to cover on Restream and looking at their new studio, the Studio Live, is looking at setup. Setup gives you the ability to do a lot. Look at this over here, for instance. I've got my destinations, and I can put in all of these. You just click on them, turning it on and off like that. There's a little bit of a delay there, so be aware of that. So I click on that, and it turns it off, etc. But I can go into Facebook, into LinkedIn, if you have that permission to do LinkedIn Live. You can go into Periscope, Twitter, several different Facebook groups. That's important. And this gives you the ability to increase your marketing as never before. You get the ability to not just say, come to me and I'll tell you my message, but rather you go to them to give them value in various places where you are. So this is all part of what's available in Restream in their new version that came out just a few days ago as we're doing this recording. So it gives you the ability to use it. I encourage you to look into Restream and get involved with that. As I mentioned, if you are working with Restream, excuse me, or you're thinking about doing some things with it, well, we can help you out on that because you use our affiliate link. You'll get a nice $10 credit, and we'll get a little bit of credit ourselves, but we'll get a chance to help each other that way. And if you do that, please let me know, and we can send you some of the goodies that we have about how to use Restream even better. So let us know on that, and we appreciate you being here. And by the way, again, if you have not subscribed yet, by all means do this and share this with others who can benefit from it. I'm TerryBrock, and thank you for being with us here on Agorapreneurs as we learn different skills, different tools that are available to help you in your entrepreneurial lifestyle. I wish you much continued success in the future.